how does evolution really work? Natural selection, the key evolutionary mechanism Darwin identified, is really four processes: genetic variation, overproduction of offspring, struggle for existence, and differential survival and reproduction. First, genetic variation. Individuals within a species vary from one to the other. For evolution to work by natural selection, the characteristics that give an individual an advantage in a certain environment have to be passed on from one generation to the next. Second, there is overproduction of offspring. The third factor in natural selection is the struggle for existence, and that leads to differential survival and reproduction. In an environment with long flowers, having a long bill is an advantageous trait. Not necessarily the absolute best trait always, just a better one in this environment. Hummingbirds with small bills may not survive, and eventually there will only be hummingbirds with long bills. Over a long period of time, the entire population of hummingbirds adapts to the shape and size of the flowers that exist in that environment. Individual small-billed hummingbirds that move into an area where there are longer flowers can't make their bills longer. Their bill length is determined by the DNA they inherited from their parents. Did humans evolve? In all of our distinctiveness, it can be hard to understand that we are related to even the simplest forms of life.
No candy at all. What would you say?
For many people, it's even difficult to accept our close evolutionary relationship to other primates. Part of the problem in understanding our relationship to other living primates is to look at the difference between a relative and an ancestor. Look at your own relatives. Here's you and your biological mother and father. You are related to them and descended from them. Your mother's sister is your aunt, and her child your first cousin. You are related to them, but you are not descended from them. When you look back at generations before you, you can see your ancestors. You and your cousin share two, very close in this case, common ancestors, your maternal grandmother and grandfather. If you keep looking back at your ancestors for about 5 million years, you will arrive at the common ancestor we share with today's apes. The sequence of the 4 chemical building blocks of DNA determines the traits of all living things. These are represented by A's, T's, C's, and G's. Each generation passes on this chemical text to its offspring. Occasional mistakes in copying, mutations, can result in new traits. Paige takes part of a gene in humans and aligns it with the corresponding sequence of the same gene found in chimps to compare the letters.
And what we see is that these two sequences, the human and chimp sequences, are spectacularly similar. They are, in fact, 98% identical. In other words, about 5 million years ago, the precursor of humans and chimps lived. And we can see that, we can in a sense read that right out of the DNA sequences.
In the 21st century, the combination of fossil record, physical features, and molecular evidence leaves no doubt that humans and apes shared a common ancestor several million years ago. And humans and apes, like those early primates, have continued to evolve ever since.